Hey, Bode. Okay, here's your fly. And you have such an amazing back half of your fly. Your exit and the way you get your hands over the front end of your stroke is just awesome. So I've watched this a couple of times and I think, okay, how does this kid get faster? Because clearly we want to get faster, right? And I really think it has a lot to do with the front end and learning to set up a better catch. It's not a bad catch, but you want to get faster, right? So we got to do some technical stuff better, I think, besides you just getting stronger and training tougher. So one thing is tightening up that streamline a little bit. It doesn't look like you're squeezing your head between your arms. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe your head a little bit lower and those shoulders a little bit over the top of your head and so what I like to see, especially on your back and your fly, when you're dolphin kicking, I like to see the head like sitting on top of the arms. So if this is on your back, the arms would be underneath your head, like underneath your ears, right? And you would be pressing, this could be, I don't know why I said on your back, it's on your stomach or your back, and you would press your arms into your head and your head into your arms. And you use that sandwich as like leverage. So right now, because you're not using your arms as a leverage point, no, I wanted to move this. Your head just kind of bobbles around in there and it doesn't like stay really tight. So I think you need to put your arms up a little bit higher and use your head and your arms as a leverage point, okay? You also need to break out sooner. You're at the surface before you break out. So start your breakout right about here so that you are swimming yourself out of the hole and not just kicking yourself and then swimming when you get to the surface. Try not to dive your head down when you take that breakout. Keep your neck nice and long. This is the beautiful part of your stroke right here, where your hands are finishing. You sweep your hands really nicely. You've got this really strong kick right there. And then you'll see when we go over the top, you just get your hands forward so quick. I would also say potentially you could be a little more straight line at this position. And this is where we talk about the catch. If you could just at your elbows, bend those forearms down and keep the stroke a little more narrow, you might get more power. Okay. This might not be the case if you're doing a 200 fly, but certainly a 50 and even 100. Okay. So land it. And it's not even like you outsweep. You just press down right away, right? You can see how your hands and your elbows are sort of the same level for a long time. So you want to try to leave the armpit open all the way to the elbow and then begin to start bending those hands or forearms downward so that, your forearm is facing the back end of the pool, because you go opposite where your forearm and your palm are facing. Your body's going to go opposite that. So if you can get them pointing backwards earlier, that would be a great thing. And your kick is just really strong. Although I think your kick gets weaker even just during this 50. So it's very equal, great, big, beautiful forward entry kick, and then a really nice, equally good, equally strong exit kick. And to me, that's a great flyer, is when they have their exit and their entry kick are similarly strong, and one's not much better than the other. So probably a tiny bit tight on this wall. You want to feel like you're just not gliding in, but you're reaching in for the wall, ideally. Okay. And you're in a great position to have an awesome turn. You're flat here, right? And what we want to see is for you to keep that head down while you turn. But what do? You lift your head up and you start arching your back. So I want the exact opposite. I want you to keep your head down, round at your upper spine, round at your lower spine and the tailbone. Drive the knees in, and the shins and the feet will come in right after it. Now you do a great job bringing your knees in, and those feet, they're tucking right here. I love that very, very, very much. You get your feet planted on the wall, but we're not rounded. You're vertical, right? You're totally vertical there. So we want to stay lower while we get the feet to the wall, but that's a really nice push off, pushing off from the glutes. Again, we want to tighten up just a little bit. Great sweep through the back end. And here we are above. You just see those hands. They rocket out of the hole, and you're so good at using your shoulders and the chest press. Beautiful timing of putting your head down. Pretty good length. And this is where I feel like your legs start to lose a little bit. They're just not quite as powerful. So you might have gone out too hard on the legs. I mean, the kick was like pretty intense right here in the beginning. So if we could keep that kick all the time, that would be awesome. And that's like kicking endurance. Obviously, you have the technique for it. You got to build the endurance for it. But again, the biggest thing I think will be learning to set up your catch earlier, better, right? So if this is, I always have such a hard time getting the angle tool. I'm not going to use it because I have a hard time getting it. So I want you to keep a nice 180 degree line if possible from like, really not this long, maybe from your rib cage to your elbow. And then this line is going to right there to set up your catch. Okay, that would be setting a catch, not just pressing down. So that's, I think, your biggest area for maximizing your improvement. All right, Bode, great job. Hope you had a great time and learned a lot. War Eagle.